Hello, everyone, and I almost forgot. I'm so stupid. Welcome to another edition of the LPTV Disney Morning Show, show in which we talk about what's going on in the world of Disney for the day. My name is Doobie Mosley. I am your Bayou co-founder of Laughing Place, and the guy over here is our managing editor, Kyle. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing well, Doobie. I just published a bunch of stuff by this. The byline says Doobie Mosley. That's
Doobie
that's
Mosley.
different.
He's a rare writer. He must command a high fee to be used so rarely. Where do I start? I want to apologize for having no show yesterday. I just was not quite up to it, a little under the weather. I may have called in today too, except I really needed to do this show. So forgive me if my voice is off or I do some coughing or all of that. Yes, I was just in a parade. Yes, way down in New Orleans. We're going to get to New Orleans, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, all the fun news we have that just broke this morning, and me talking about my trip to New Orleans. Hey, I just got a push alert. My trip to New Orleans to learn more about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. But we have to start the show the way we start every show. Kyle,
Yes.
how's the Disney stock doing? With the investors must be just going ballistic right now with all this Tiana news just dropping.
I really hope it's up. It can't go much lower.
Oh, it can.
Well, I
It
know it
was
can.
it was in the 87, so technically it can go $87 lower, or even more if they do a reverse stock split. But where it is let's hit that button. There you go. Is 88 up, and it was 87 when I looked earlier today. So it may be on a trajectory. We need to remember to come back and check this later today and see how it's doing. Maybe it's on its way up. All right, one more thing before we get to Tiana, and that is a look at the Bayou weather.
Here's Ethan.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the LP Disney weather. I'm gonna level with you. The early start kind of snuck up on me today. Did I know about it for a couple of days? Yes. Did I run out of time anyway? You betcha. So, below is not the actual weather but some educated guesses. Anaheim will probably be a bit cloudy and around 70 something today. I'm guessing Walt Disney World will be around 90 on paper but with humidity. Also, storms may pop up later because Florida. My bet for Castaway Key is temps in the low to mid 80s and, again, lots of humidity making it feel warmer. And it could be breezy. Probably.
Breezy.
Disneyland Paris is nearing the 50s tonight, so says I, and perhaps showers are in the 4Ks. Who's to say? Tokyo is a wild card, but I'm going to think positive and say sunny skies, temps in the 70s. Shanghai might be mostly cloudy tomorrow and reach 82 degrees that will feel a bit warmer. Finally, Hong Kong will be deathly humid and thunderstorms may pop up at any time. Probably. And that's it for today's report. Sorry about phoning this one in, but as they keep telling us, AI isn't quite there yet. Bye for now.
I'm really, really disappointed. One of the advantages of using Ethan is you figure time means nothing. 8 o'clock is not early for him. And to hear these excuses just shows he's getting even more and more intelligent and human-like. And I'm both disappointed and scared.
What I think is the funniest part of that is that he says below as if he's like on a script or something instead of like making a video and saying like following. Just shows how pressed for time he was.
Okay, let's get started. So, what's going on? Last week, I missed 3 shows. Why? Because I was way down in New Orleans. Disney held an event, pretty small event, inviting some of the media to see what Imagineers do when they go on these road trips to get themselves immersed in stuff in furtherance of creating an attraction, in this case, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So I don't know what the number was. Maybe 20, 25 media members went down to New Orleans. We got to spend 2 full days there, plus an evening. We got to talk to the Imagineers quite a bit. They took us around to many locations and explained to us how those locations informed what's going on with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And along the way, we learned a few new tidbits, not a ton, but a few new tidbits about what's coming for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and just the process. And the main thing was to get the process of both how they do this and why they do this. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit this morning. But first, let's talk about the actual news, because there was some Tiana's Bayou Adventure news to come out of this. We do have articles on Laughing Place right now, 3 articles. Those are
3 articles.
three. Yes, we have three articles, which have already been usurped by one more article, the Bob Iger CEO article, which doesn't have a featured picture, but. So the first one we'll talk about is everything new we learned about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I'm going to put that link in the chat and go through what we actually learned, because we did learn some brand new things about this attraction. In fact, let me show you the article here. This is actually Tiana at Dookie Chase's restaurant, the restaurant that Tiana's restaurant is modeled after. And the founder of Dookie Chase's, Leah Chase, who is no longer with us, is who Tiana is modeled after or inspired by. So we got to actually go there. We got to meet Tiana there. Really cool. But that's just the header for this article, where I'm going to tell you what we learned about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And I hope Kyle will interject at times in here, because I'm really already sick of hearing my voice this morning. So we learned that...
are you meaning to show your screen on the screen? Because it's not showing on the screen.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I showed Tiana. I'll read the word. So we learned the obvious, that the ride is the same in terms of the track layout and the length. They're not slowing it down or speeding it up. It's still going to be 9 minutes at Disneyland.
Or bypassing.
Anything could happen. They could have... Anyway, they're doing none of that. 9 minutes at Disneyland, 10 minutes at Magic Kingdom. We learned that Walt Disney Animation Studios are creating screens. We're creating new animation to be used within the attraction. I don't know that only within the attraction. I got the feeling that elsewhere as well, which makes sense, the queue or whatever. But they definitely seem to indicate that there are some screens going into the attraction with new animation created by Walt Disney Animation Studios. Now, don't think this is about to become a screen-based attraction. We've got news later that's going to assuage you of that notion. We learned that there will be a brand new song, a theme for this attraction heard in the ride, a completely new song that's not in the movie. Unfortunately, we did not get to hear any of it. But the reason that Imagineering was actually down there, they weren't down there for this event. They kind of took away from their actual work to come talk to us. But one of the reasons they were down there is they are working on that song. It is being written and performed by songwriter and producer P.J. Morton. Now, Kyle, you're our pop culture guy. Do you know who P.J. Morton is?
No.
I'm so disappointed. So I was in the room. This was announced in Preservation Hall, which just blows my mind that I was in Preservation Hall comfortably. And P.J. Morton was announced, and I did not know who he was, unfortunately, but there were a number of people who did know who he was and went absolutely crazy. So P.J. Morton is... P.J. Morton is doing the music... he's creating a brand new song for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We did not get to hear it at all, unfortunately, because it is still being worked on. But they are extremely excited about this song. So I, therefore, am extremely excited about this song. And sorry, I'm trying to show you a picture of PJ. I do have one. In just a moment. When did that happen? That happened Preservation Hall right here. It's coming up. PJ Morton, there you are. All right, so you have this tab. So there's PJ Morton. He's being interviewed in Preservation Hall along with John Dennis, I believe his last name is, and Ted Robledo. Those are two Imagineers. John specifically works with music, and they literally came over from the studio to give this presentation, and probably right now still working on getting this song done.
And Ted knows about edges. That's what
yeah, you want to read our articles you can learn a lot, especially the Q&A, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's see, what else did we learn? So that's PJ Morton. We also learned that jazz trumpeter Terrence Blanchard, and you may not know who he is, but you know his work if you've seen Princess and the Frog, because he plays the trumpet parts for Lewis in the film. So Ted Blanchard, and there he is. And this is again at Dookie Chase's restaurant where they talked to him. So cool again. By the way, the talk they did with Ted Blanchard and with Terrence Blanchard and with PJ Morton, those are both on our YouTube channel, the full conversations with them. So you can get more insight. He is doing the arrangements of the existing songs for the attraction, as well as the arrangements for the queue, where they're going to not only arrange the existing songs, but also some New Orleans classics. Yes, exactly, Gio. That is the one, and the same PJ Morton, who is the keyboardist for Maroon 5. That's probably a good way to...
Oh, yeah. So really, he and Adam are Maroon 5, because I don't think Maroon 5 has had any guitars or other instruments in their songs for about 10 years now.
There you go. So not the original, but he was added. I guess he was added during a tour and then became an official member after that. So, Gio, trumping Kyle on the music pop culture. Mark that down, somebody. Donna, where are you? This is like a magic question.
No,
Keep a
I
note of that.
don't think that there are other members of Maroon 5 besides Adam Levine. So that's my stance.
All right. So that's PJ
He doesn't
Morton.
either, by the way.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. PJ Morton, Terrence Blatcher. Those are two big things. Those are both New Orleans natives brought on to work on this project. The original music obviously was done by Randy Newman, which they praised effusively and will still be using. But they did bring on some natives to create a new original song and some new arrangements. The flora, the wildlife, the sounds are all going to be authentic to New Orleans. You shouldn't see or hear anything that you wouldn't actually see or hear in New Orleans, which is kind of the whole authenticity theme that we learned that this trip was for. And that includes, don't forget this is kind of set in the 20s. And so you should not be seeing anything that wasn't appropriate for the 20s. And they did a lot of work with the historic New Orleans collection on that, which was another place we got to visit and hear about some of that. Okay, there will be in the queue a radio show that you're hearing that is going to be talking about the celebration that you're going to, the reason for the attraction, and also talking about the fact that Tiana needs some assistance. So that's about all the detail they give us. You're going to see that radio, and we got to see that radio, which was really cool, at the New Orleans Jazz Museum. And it is modeled on a real radio. You know what? This is stupid. Let me get up the right article now that they've been published, and this will be much easier. So talk for just a moment.
Let's see.
What's new?
Oh, I just noticed your little Tiana. Is that a new email behind you?
Yes, that they gave us the new emo.
Oh, not
She's being hidden by the logo. Where's that? There she is. There. How about that? Yeah, they gave us that, and they gave us the beads, of course. Did not have to earn them, thankfully.
time out.
Be pretty. That wouldn't be pretty. Wouldn't be prudent. All right, so the radio.
Are you Dana Carvey's George Bush?
I mean, it's 2023. 2023. Isn't that appropriate to do Dana Carvey's George Bush? You know what's
If
funny?
Tony's watching, he thinks it's very appropriate.
I'm listening to an audiobook right now on the AOL Time Warner merger, and they just talked about an event where Dana Carvey was the MC. So maybe that's why it was in my head. So the radio that they are going to be is going to be in the queue playing that radio program is modeled on this one right here, which is a 1900. Nope, that's the drum set, which is a 1930 Avron radio and record player combination with very common of the era. So again, authenticity is so important here. The drum set, let's get that here. So, you can see right there. So that's Naveen's little brother, Ralphie. Do you remember Ralphie from the film?
No.
Me either. But there he is. And so they are actually creating a Ralphie animatronic. Yes, animatronic, not screen. And he will be playing the drums in the attraction.
That cymbal is very close to the bass drum.
So this may not be how it's set up in real life. They may have set it up like this for the media. But what's fun is this drum set is a real children's drum set featuring Chinese tom-toms from 1920s cymbals. How do you pronounce that? Zildjian?
Zildjian is what I've always just said. Okay. I don't know if it's correct. But
I mean, I know the word. They're famous cymbals, but I don't know how to pronounce it. This drum set, as you see it, actually is in the office of Greg Lambuzzi, who is the New Orleans Jazz Museum director. And he actually talked to us about the set and stuff. And they modeled Ralphie's drum set on this. And you will see that in the attraction as an animatronic. And again, you can see that whole presentation with him as well as Carmen and Sharita, two of the lead Imagineers on this project. They gave a presentation from the Jazz Museum that is also on our YouTube channel. There are 17 new characters. So that's like separate from Naveen and Tiana, and those 17 brand new characters. Many of those are the Critter Band that you may have seen before from a different event that I went to when they released that information. But 17 new characters as animatronics. How cool is that, Kyle? 17 new animatronic characters.
Did they say new animatronics or new characters?
So what I interpreted from this, after listening to that Q&A many times, there are 17 new characters all represented as animatronics, separate from the animatronics we know we're getting with Tiana and Mama Odie and all those.
Right, but I'm wondering if they're really brand new
Oh,
animatronics
it doesn't.
or
See, to me, that doesn't matter. They're new to
no, I
us.
know. But I'm saying like because then 17 sounds small if you think about that entire ship at the end.
Oh wait, we have a yeah. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Oh, we don't have it.
Am
I'm
I a
very
seagull?
disappointed.
Or
Yes, you're
just a
being a
technical?
seagull right
I'm
now,
not being a seagull. I'm just asking
and we
questions.
we don't have the video in there, and I'm very disappointed because you deserve the seagull right now, Kyle.
No, I was just clarifying. If anything, it's a technically, but no, they could be new characters. The people on the boat don't need to be characters. They could just be there. If
I
there's a boat, I don't
do
know.
not know if there's going to be a boat. Where's my seagull when I need it? Okay. There are some new themes. So, as we know, this is set after the events of Princess and the Frog. Tiana has created a co-op, employee-owned co-op, Tiana's Food. Is really waiting for the seagull. Exactly, Gino.
It's a bayou. They don't have seagulls. They'd be beagles.
And that does not happen now. So some new themes that are being touched on that weren't necessarily in the film, but that are going to be touched on in the attraction. Tiana's father, as we do know, is a World War One veteran, and they would like to touch on what it was like for an African American man to fight for his country back in the 20s. Or I guess probably before the 20s, if I know anything about history. Tiana's mom, as we know from the movie, made dresses for Charlotte. But they said, chances are Charlotte wasn't her only client, so they're going to see about Tiana and her Tiana's mom and what other clients she may have had in the community where she made dresses from, because that was also an inspiration for Tiana's entrepreneurship. And then this was something that was really interesting. If you read the Q&A, the whole thing that Ted Robledo talked about regarding this was quite interesting. But what he learned in some of his research is that he's Filipino. He's first generation American. Both his parents are Filipino. Is that New Orleans was actually one of the first places Filipinos settled in this country before this was a country, because they were constantly going back and forth, and eventually some of them just got sick of going back and forth and settled in New Orleans. And New Orleans actually has a really, really rich cultural history with many different countries, from Philippines, Mexico, Caribbean nations, obviously, Africa, even vibrant Chinatown in New Orleans. And they really felt that should be represented in this attraction. I got the sense that that's one of the uses for screens in this attraction, just kind of melding things together. So I wouldn't say that 100%, but in watching the Q&A, that's the sense I got. But that tapestry of New Orleans' very diverse cultural background will be a part of Princess Tiana's Bayou adventure. So I think that's interesting. There were some influencers at this event who were really into Tiana's dress and costumes, and I'm happy they were, because they asked some good questions. So we did find out. We already knew that we had Adventure Tiana here. This is not the only new costume we will see for Tiana. This is also not the only hairstyle we will see for Tiana. So hair played a big part in the conversations both here and a previous event I had gone to. So we will be seeing Tiana in many different ways, which I do think is exciting. Someone actually asked in the Q&A about Prince Naveen, which I thought was interesting, and asking about because of his background, and obviously then getting married to Tiana back in the 20s. And so Prince Naveen actually will have a role. They thought it was very important to bring him into this attraction. They said it's not a huge role, but it is an important role and a humorous role that he will have in this attraction. So looking forward to that. Look for a sneak peek of new consumer products for Tiana's adventure at Essence Fest, which is coming up at the end of this month. That's the event last year where they announced the name of the attraction. This year we should get a look at some merchandise. I don't know if there's anything else they're going to be talking about for the attraction, but do look for that. They talked about the fact that there's a Disney Plus series coming up on Princess Tiana Adventure that this is not necessarily tied to, but they are working with them to just make sure the continuity, makes sense. They don't want to have any contradictions, but this is not necessarily based on the Disney Plus show. In Eudora's Chic Boutique, that is the store that's already open at Disneyland, which is themed to Princess Tiana, they are adding a chair. Why a chair, you may ask? Well, let's find out. There we go. That's not the one I want. Excuse me. I told you my voice was going to give out. We went to a place called Yaya, which is one of the coolest places we went to. It is a place where people age 13 to 25 can go and learn. Basically, young artists can go and learn their craft. And we got to see some young people there working. We got to see them being taught. It was just a really cool experience. I'm not an art guy at all, but just seeing the mentoring going on. It's an after-school program. It was really cool. And one of the things they do at Yaya is all the students there, they create their own chair where they paint it, whatever inspires them, and then ultimately they sell it, and the students share in the profits. And the way they sell a lot of artwork there that the students create, and the students actually progress through 4 levels at Yaya, and the higher level they progress to, the larger percentage they get of the sales of those products. Which I love because it's teaching them not only to be artists but to be entrepreneurs, how to make money, how to make a living at your art. Which, if you love being an artist, that's the ultimate. So I love that they're attacking both of those aspects at Yaya. So if you get a chance to visit Yaya, learn more about Yaya, highly recommend it. But
Are there
anyway,
divine secrets there?
you know how many times that went through my head? It was annoying. But so what Imagineering did was ask some of the current and past students at Yaya to do a chair for Imagineering. And this is that chair. You can see the princess and the frog inspiration there with the color scheme and the food. You can see there's food there throughout, beignets going across. This chair, this very one, well, this is a picture, but yeah, a picture of the very one will be heading to Eudora's Chic Boutique at Disneyland in the future. They did not tell us when, but keep an eye out for it. And now when you see that chair, you can amaze your friends by knowing the history of the Yaya.
Did they say how much they paid for it? Well, I figured that was like part of it because obviously it's like, a donation. So I imagine that they paid handsomely for it as like a gesture.
One would hope they did. I did not ask. They did not say.
Okay.
Yaya does not have to turn away students, so I have a feeling they have some wonderful, and it's free for the students. So they have some wonderful benefactors. I would not be surprised if Disney is one of those, but I do not know. So thank you for putting baby in a corner here. All right, and finally, one of our intrepid media did ask the question, what else might be coming to the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World other than the attraction itself? There have been some rumors of other major changes coming, to which Carmen Smith said, quote, I will say, can't say. Stay tuned.
Yes, that was probably my favorite answer in the Q&A session.
So I am not reading anything into that. I am not asking you to read anything into that, but I do think it's important that you get exactly what they said regarding the rumors going around about Tiana's Bayou Adventure and the surrounding areas at the Magic Kingdom. Once again, I will say, can't say. Stay tuned.
So did you ask, obviously these questions came from a lot of different people. Did you ask a question during the session?
I did. So let me give you a link to the Q&A. If you want to learn...
I could tell which ones weren't your questions, but I wasn't sure which ones were your questions.
The one about hair was not my question. You are correct. The one about Tiana having the most costume changes despite the fact that she's a frog for half the movie, not my question. You are correct. Here is a link to the Q&A. Excuse me. My question was... Let me just share this screen with you. Even though I'm not sure. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so here's who did the Q&A. Carmen Smith, Sharita Carter, and Ted Robledo. Sharita Carter is the producer. Ted Robledo is the director. Carmen Smith, I should have her. Yeah, she's the Senior Vice President and Executive Creative Development, Product, Content, and Inclusive Strategies. Very long title. Been with the company 40 years. All 3 of these people, we heard from them numerous times throughout the 2 days, and all 3 are really, really interesting and really, really, really passionate. Strongly advise you to read this entire Q&A. I put a lot of time into transcribing it, but not only for that reason, but it is insightful into all 3 of them and Disney's thoughts on Tiana's Bayou Adventure and their specific thoughts on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Ted, in particular, so passionate. Oh my goodness. Anyway, this was all in service of Kyle's question was, did I ask a question? Yes, I did ask a question. Which question was Doobie's? Let us come and find it.
You'll notice I put them in bold so they're easier to find.
Did you? Oh, I did notice that. I mean, now that you mention it. Okay, here is Doobie's question. Paraphrasing Doobie. So I'll try to say it as I said it. Thank you for having us here. Appreciate it. Everyone said that, so I cut that out of the queue. You're replacing an iconic attraction, obviously. You're doing the first major attraction for an iconic movie. You're human beings. Do you guys feel the pressure? To which Carmen said, every day. And then Ted took that as an opportunity to basically say why they thought it was important to change Splash Mountain. Of interest to me, during this entire Q&A, including when talking about Splash Mountain, the words Splash Mountain are never, ever mentioned. I don't believe they were mentioned once the entire time. Prior attraction is how it is termed.
It's like Prince.
Ooh, I got a shout out from Scott Gustin. Way to go.
I was going to tell you that.
Let's hope I'm accurate. No, I know what I heard. When things are done live like this, I know from experience on both sides, things aren't always said 100% accurately. And that's no one's blame. That's just the fact of doing stuff live and not from a script. But I know what I heard.
My wife was listening from the other room and said, she DM'd me and said, do we want to know if DHS was changing its name?
That is great.
Never short of callbacks.
So, like I said, read the Q&A. A lot of the information I got for the what's new comes from the Q&A, and it's really expounded upon there. And like I said, whatever your level of excitement for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, it will go up after reading the Q&A, if only because you will see that there is passion. They care. They care a lot. It doesn't mean it's going to happen well. A lot of people care a lot and do poor work, but they're not phoning it in. The people at the head of this project care a lot.
I think I'm encouraged. Like, obviously, we all prefer animatronics to screens, but I do think screens have a good place, especially in an attraction like this. I think this is actually going to be a good use of it because it'll, in my vision, they'll be used to kind of like add depth to the attraction because like that's pretty tight in there, especially Disneyland Splash Mountain. Like you don't have a lot of room to work with, so adding screens will make it look larger, and they can do set pieces that they physically couldn't do if it was all practical. So I think when you think about it that way, it makes a lot of sense. So having a mix of animatronics and the screens, I think, will be a good service for this type of attraction.
That is an excellent point. And, screens are not inherently bad. You only have to look at, not that this is going to be that scale, but look at Shanghai's Pirates of the Caribbean to see how screens can really, really augment an attraction and not do the other, not, denigrate, downgrade, whatever the word is. All right. The final article I do have, and when you have a few minutes, because it's not a short one, invite you to read this one. It's Finding, what did I call it? Finding Authenticity, Bringing the Real New Orleans to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And so what I tried to do here, that is not the right button.
You could hide us, it's fine.
Is just take you through the entire trip. We visited numerous places, like I said, Dookie Chase's restaurant, Mardi Gras World, where we got to see where Mardi Gras floats were made, and got maybe some breaking news, the fact that they're currently working on SeaWorld Orlando floats there for a new upcoming SeaWorld Orlando parade that we can find no information about, but he spoke of it freely. So I'm going to tell you that they're working on floats for SeaWorld Orlando parade. We got to we took a Bayou adventure. Let me walk you through this article. This is not necessarily news, and this is what we got to do as a part of this event.
These are
vacation plans. Yeah, I'm going to take you through the trip. So started off, we got to go to a place where you could, it's called View New Orleans, go up high, see New Orleans. Not any news there. The real cool start was the next morning. We got to go to the Bayou. We got to do an abbreviated Cajun Expeditions Bayou tour. I think it's normally about 2 hours. Ours was a little less than an hour, but it was incredible. And of course, the Bayou, the inspiration for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, obviously. Got to see so many alligators. Oh my. Hopefully, I think I'm losing my connection, but hopefully it kicks back in there. So many alligators, got to see some cool raccoons there. And as they said, you should see nothing in the attraction that you don't actually see in the Bayou. And the Imagineers made numerous trips to the Bayou for inspiration, for research. And I think our Bayou driver talked about having Imagineers on there previously, taking Disney on the Bayou tour. One of the cool things he had us do at one point was he said, just close your eyes and just listen. And I'm so glad he did, because you can really hear, you can hear much more than you can see in the bayou, all the different sounds, picking out all the different animals you're listening to. And so I am so going to be in tune to that. In tune to that when I go on Tiana's Bayou Adventure, because they are recreating those sounds. They're using Foley artists who, inspired by the famous Jimmy McDonald Disney legend, who create their own apparatus. They actually showed us a video about some of those Foley artists in Studio A at the studios creating these Bayou sounds. So I'm excited about that. Yes, exactly. They took us in the footsteps of what Imagineering does when developing attraction. We got to get a taste of that process, which is, I'm a cynical guy, so we've heard about how I'm going to go back to this tour, like it or not. We're going through this tour. I've heard about how the Imagineers, they take trips to Nepal for working on Expedition Everest. They go to Hawaii for 3 years when working on Alani, and I'm like, that's just a cool perk of being an Imagineer. And I actually said this to one of our publicists. I'm like, that's how I thought about things. What a cool perk of being an Imagineer. We could go chill out in Nepal for a while, and then, yeah, it's inspiring, but is it really necessary? But after being taken through this process, just a little bit of this process with them, I much more feel like I have a sense of how important it is, not only for authenticity, which is extremely important, but also for inspiration and also passion. When you are in New Orleans, even for 2 days as I was, and see this stuff, the actual stuff for real, and talk to the people who live there, like our tour guide on this Bayou adventure, and how important all this stuff to him. He grew up in the Bayou. It gives, I imagine it gives them a real sense of responsibility to get it right. It's not enough just to know about it and use that as a launching point, but they feel a need to get it right. I have a new respect for that. So
I think you
appreciate
thought
that.
Imagineers were basically like Adam Sandler, where they're like, this movie needs to take place on the Maldives, and there's nowhere else we could possibly film it.
Or less, yeah, thanks. Here is the whiskey tree. This is the only a cypress tree, but the only one that looks quite like this in the bayou, and serves as the inspiration for the wishing tree in the movie. So it was cool to see that. And then we went to Yaya. This is Yaya, which I told you about with the chair. Yaya stands for Young Aspirations, Young Artists. And this is someone at Yaya, learning to create, what do you call, I guess, glass art, when you put it in the fire and then you bend it. I don't know what's,
I guess it's not blowing, exact glass blowing, but yeah.
but very similar. Anyway, and this guy over here, he's the guy in the red hat's an expert on it from LA, who was out visiting and helping. And I actually got to see a real cool scene. She was having trouble doing it, and so he got a piece, did it, and just walked her through it from start to finish. And we got to watch that. I actually have that on video. I hope we get to put that up. It's like a YouTube short, but just really, really cool. That just watching him teach her was one of the coolest experiences of the trip. Nothing to do with Disney, unfortunately, but it was really cool. So this is important. Artist Sharika Mahdi, who went through Yaya many years ago, now teaches there. Almost all the Yaya teachers are former students. They come back, which is related to Disney. Tiana gives back to the community. Yaya most definitely is a place where people go through and then give back to that community. She was commissioned a while ago to create 4 art pieces for Imagineering that they could use as inspiration for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So 3 of them had been previously shown. These 3 right here. This one on the right is very directly used in the attraction for artwork we've already seen for Mama Odie and how she's going to appear in the attraction. And then we got to see the debut. Oh, and this is the artwork from the attraction. So you can see that was inspired by her artwork here, which I think is pretty cool. And we got to see her unveil, which is just unveiled this morning on the Disney Parks blog and in our articles, her 4th piece, which is right here. It's her, Tiana, on the couch with her mom, and then her father is here represented in a painting, and then other aspects of the house and Tiana's life back here. So she's really proud of this work. We have a video on our YouTube where she talks about the creation of it and some of the stuff, and I encourage you to watch. Really cool experience going to Yaya and meeting this artist and seeing how, again, how the real New Orleans inspires Disney. She's now a school teacher, by the way, so again, giving back to the community. You know all about this chair. Next, we went to the famous Dookie Chase's restaurant. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I got to go to Dookie Chase's in New Orleans. I'm so excited. This matriarch, Leah Chase, who's no longer with us, but she is the inspiration for Tiana. Stella Chase is with us, and she was here at the event. This is her right here. This is her brother over here. I'm sorry, I don't have his name handy. And then this is, excuse me, Terrence Blanchard. He's the one we already talked about, who was doing music for the queue. Oh my goodness, Tiana was there. So, here, let me give you one. Way to go, Doobie, right there. I got to meet her too. Am I lucky or what? I got to meet Tiana at Dookie Chase's restaurant.
So
I'm pretty
skinny.
happy about that. Shut up. I like that shirt though. Okay, so Dookie Chase's had some incredible food there. I'm a vegetarian. The food was still incredible. Got to meet Stella and myself. They were very nice to us. They let you choose what you wanted for dinner, and then they just brought fried chicken for the table. I've heard secondhand the fried chicken was amazing. That's like their thing. So someone at my table, it was a 4-person table, 4 pieces of chicken. Someone was lucky enough to get my piece because I'm a vegetarian. Hey, Rich, thanks for joining us. If you would like to visit Tiana's Bayou Adventure at Magic Kingdom or Disneyland in late 2024, we invite you to book through Mouthfan Travel, MEI Travel, Rich Ostry, great travel agent you can use. All right, so Dookie Chase's was amazing. And then this is where they, you know what I love, Kyle?
What?
Whenever they talk to someone famous outside of Disney, Terrence Blanchard, we may not know his name, but in the music world, he is famous outside of Disney. PJ Morton was the same way. You'll see it with actors or whatever who do Disney work, and they get interviewed and they just talk about how excited they are to be working on actually he said the word one time, on a Disney cartoon. Sorry, Tony, that's a quote. But how excited they are to be working in Disney animation. I love seeing that excitement. They have the excitement for it that we have, and it's awesome. So they surprised him with a portrait that they created. It's him, and then there's a little turtle down here. That's kind of his representation in the attraction. So that is one of the critters in the attraction. And his face, they were holding it behind him, and then he turned around and saw it, and the way he lit up, it was so cool. So that was Dookie Chase's. They are very proud of their association with Princess and the Frog there. This is really cool. Animation presented them with this. It says, "Thank you very much, Mrs. Chase, for all your inspiration. You are the real Princess of New Orleans." And then it's signed down here by John Musker, Ron Clements, and John Lasseter in the middle. So really awesome to see that stuff. If you get a chance to go to New Orleans and go to Dookie Chase, you're a Disney fan. Stella Chase says, not one day goes by that someone doesn't come in here and say, we came here because this is Tiana's restaurant. So be one of those people. Go to Tiana's restaurant at Dookie Chase's, and the food, well, is amazing. And then being in New Orleans, this was not a Disney event, but I had to go get beignets. That was my one thing I had to do, was get beignets. So me and a couple other guys who were there went to Café Du Monde. That is the beignet place in New Orleans. Went there like 10:30 at night. It is exactly what you'd expect it to be. This is not highbrow places, but it was so much fun. The server was very fun, very memorable, and there's me and my beignet.
Wearing light-colored shirt to go eat beignets, that's a pro-level move.
It was the end of the day. I could get as dirty as I wanted. We were going home after. I was going to bed. To get here, we had to walk down Bourbon Street. No, we didn't have to. We chose to walk down Bourbon Street. Not
You regretted that decision.
I don't regret that decision, because that's one of those things you got to do once. We did come back a different way, and I never saw Bourbon Street again. And that's good for the rest of my life. Not my kind of place. Exactly, yes. So we've seen a lot of the critters in the concept art, but this gives us an even closer look with that piece and another piece we're going to see later that they did for PJ Morton, a closer look at 2 of the critters. And then we went to the Historic New Orleans collection. This is the next day, the second day. And this is where wasn't so much focused on the authenticity of the place as the authenticity of the time and place, because this is where they could go and make sure everything they were doing was appropriate to the time of the 20s of New Orleans. A lot of research was done in this place, as we were finding out when we hear them talk again. Carmen Smith and Sharita Carter talked in this location. We have that all on video. I invite you to go check that out. One of the coolest things here is they kept telling us, when you guys go to the museum, you got to look for the hidden Mickey. Maybe the first hidden Mickey ever. So this is a painting from 1942 by Paul Ninas, simply called Mardi Gras Parade Scene. Really cool mural. Beautiful. And look what's there. Is that the very first hidden Mickey? Maybe so. Maybe so. And then we went to another section of that same place, had to walk a couple blocks, and this is the original location of the Signoret Brulateur house. What I love about this is, like, you see this door is, you can't tell here, but it's kind of low. There's a window over here that's really, really short. And it's because over the years, they've had to build up. This was originally 1816 and they built on top. So the floor is in a different location than it used to be. There's actually a well here where you can see where the original floor was. So everything is short as a result. I find it
I
fascinating.
thought it was like Imaginarium where they have a special door. Is that a thing that still exists? Oh.
Imaginarium, I don't, the Gymboree, all that stuff, I think those are, those have been replaced by video games, Kyle.
There used to be this great place called the Disney Store. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember Children's Place. Is that related?
Sometimes.
This old pipe organ was inside the building, which they're like, you know this pipe organ. You think we brought this organ in here? We didn't bring this organ in here. This organ was always here. It's been here since the 1800s. That was cool. And it's what I learned about this pipe organ is the pipes back here, they're just for show. The actual pipes are behind here. If you can see the lattice work in the back, and it's cool because as it's playing, you can like go up to it and you can hear the air as well as the music, but the air from the pipes. That's kind of neat. Thank you to Nate for pointing that out of paging Mr. Morrow. And then we went to the New Orleans Jazz Museum. That's where I already talked about the drum set and the radio, and we learned about Ralphie. And again, Carmen and Sharita talked here, and I have that on video you can go watch. Tony Betty, you're like 2 hours behind. We'll no longer be singing in the attraction. I don't know, Tony. I mean, I would not say that's safe to assume. What I will say is someone asked, will there be Easter egg? As they phrased it, America Sings, some of those animatronics ended up in Splash Mountain. Will there be Easter eggs from Splash Mountain in this attraction? Easter eggs being a Disney tradition. You can read much more detail, or rather precise wording in the Q&A. But my interpretation of the answer that they gave was, yeah, we always do Easter eggs, but we're not going to tell you what they are. Go discover them. Not specifically to America Sings or Splash Mountain, but there will be Easter eggs. So can't tell you anything more specific than that, other than there will be Easter eggs. Ralphie, that's cool. The drum set on the back of the snare drum has signatures of a lot of the drummers who've come to visit the New Orleans Jazz Museum. This is actually Louis Armstrong's real trumpet. I love seeing the real thing. So this was the one the cornet he used.
First trumpet on space. Oh wait, no, I'm confusing things.
And then we got to go to Preservation Hall, which I don't know if you guys know what Preservation Hall is, but read about Preservation Hall. We're talking
That's a trombone case.
It is. You're right. I didn't even notice that. Historic place. Amazingly tiny when you're inside. No air conditioning. I'm so glad we had it for ourselves and it wasn't packed. I can't imagine what it's like there. And the weather was very pleasant, what it can be like in there. But no air conditioning, very tiny. Just an amazing place to go hear jazz. We got to hear a jazz band there playing a bunch of Tiana songs. And then this is where we got to see, before that we had lunch. I got to meet Tiana in a different outfit. So happy. And then we had lunch and then we got to see, once again, John and Ted this time talk to PJ Morton. And this is where we learned that he's creating a brand new song for Princess and the Frog. And that's a pretty lengthy interview. I invite you to go check that out on our YouTube. There's the band playing Princess and the Frog. I should have got a video clip of that. No, I think I did. We'll probably put it on social. PJ also got to meet Tiana, so I guess I'm not that special. But
in a different outfit, as we mentioned. She has lots of outfits.
She does, and then he also got presented some cool artwork, and a possum playing an upright bass will be in there. And finally, we went to Mardi Gras World. Not a whole lot of connection from Mardi Gras World to the attraction, but it was really cool seeing Disney floats there. Kind of creepy.
A little bit.
Anyway, yeah. Just it reminds me of that Twilight Zone episode set in New Orleans with the family who put on the masks, and then, yeah. And that was the event.
There's your byline.
It's my byline. That's me. I was able to talk about that better than I expected.
For 45 minutes?
Everything. Oh my goodness. And people, thank you all who bothered to listen to all that. I hope you got something out of it. Please go read our articles on that. or at least
I
flip
watched
through
the
the
videos
pictures.
because you've heard a lot about the article, but all the videos are in the articles as well. So you can check
Yes.
out the articles, watch them there, or go to the YouTube specifically direct.
And pay attention to our socials. We're going to have some stuff on social that wasn't really appropriate for the article or the videos, but some YouTube shorts or Instagram reels or whatever, just from throughout the couple of days that not only highlight Tiana's Bayou adventure, but maybe highlight New Orleans a little bit, and from that you can see what inspired the Imagineers. Kyle,
Yes,
your
sir.
turn. Your turn. Why don't we talk a little bit about why? I don't know where to go with the why. So why don't we talk a little bit about
About
Splash Mountain, which closed 2 days
it
ago.
closed. Yes, that's kind of good timing, isn't it? That you got to announce all this stuff a day after or 2 days after it officially closed at Disneyland.
That's a coincidence?
Totally. So yeah, it's Mike was there on the last day of operation, and then he was also there the first day of non-operation, getting photos for us of what it looks like. This is just some of the photos from the day of. Obviously, we noticed in the morning that the crowds weren't very heavy, but if they came at night, as people wanted to, well, first of all, probably wait for it to be a little bit warmer, and then also be one of the last to ride and probably fight over who gets to be the actual last. Well, if you waited too long, it didn't work out for you because apparently they capped the line a little early, to some people's dismay. But yeah, so then it's closed, and then he went back the next day, and they had obviously construction walls up, and they had some stuff tagged with different colors. We don't know exactly what that means. We could speculate on what that means. But yeah, it's in progress. Apparently, we weren't able to get. He had to rush out, but we'll hopefully get it soon. They also made alterations to other attractions that mention Splash Mountain, like the Mark Twain and the Disneyland Railroad, and so those have narration changes to mention Tiana's. So we'll have footage of that tomorrow, hopefully. And yeah, you can see all the Tiana foods thing, kind of like at Walt Disney World, surrounding the building, which is good because I think some people worried that they were just going to close off all of Critter Country, but it seems like you could probably still get to Winnie the Pooh if you really wanted to.
Who like that feeling of being there. Mike got videos both of the day and night, final day of Splash Mountain. Go check that out. And then the social media, of course, was inundated with stuff. It was really fun seeing like Tony Baxter was there, and he had his vials of water, and the Lopez brothers were there, who are not the biggest Disney fans, but the biggest Disney fans in the
Literally,
world.
yeah.
So that's a
If
good
you
question.
ever, shake one of their hands, you just feel like it's just completely engulfed by there. It's crazy. They're really nice guys, though, from the times that I've interacted
They
with
are.
them.
And it's fun, some people can go to something like D23 Expo, maybe put on a mask or, depending on what they wear, and kind of get away with not being noticed too much. When you're 7 feet tall and everyone in the world knows you're the world's biggest Disney fan, you will get recognized when you go
And
to the
Robin's got
expo.
the hair too. That's how
Yeah.
you can tell them apart between Robin and Brooke.
I love that they were there. They were there for the last day of Splash Mountain. I'm sure they
They,
would have rather have been in the playoffs.
no, I was going to
But
say they probably are glad that they didn't make it into the semis, the conference finals. They're like, oh, phew, good thing the Bucks
I
tanked.
know. Wow. Bye-bye,
By the
Splash
way, who
Mountain.
are you pulling for? I'm going Nuggets.
I'm going Nugget. Part of me that wants the underdog, play-in game, coming all the way to win it, but I got to go with the Nuggets. Any Splash Mountain memories from Kyle before we say a final goodbye?
I kind of already shared the other day when I remember distinctly it being, there was a trip. I think you hit a certain age where you're finally like, okay, I'm going to do the thrill ride. So I feel like I did Space Mountain and Splash Mountain like all in one trip, and it was intimidated by it, and I was really excited when I actually did it. So I have that, and then the fact, like I said, the time that my dad and my brother and we got the photo because no one else was in our boat, so we made a point to buy the photo.
My favorite Splash, no, not my favorite. I already did that. But a memory triggered by Splash Mountain is a memory of Mike Celestino's and how terrified he was the first time he wrote Tower of Terror. And he shared that with us in our private Slack that I am now sharing with all of you. Gecko, we do not know if the American Sings animatronics will still be there in any form. We simply do not know at this point, unfortunately. But we will by late 2024. All right, Mike then went to DCA, or at some point went to DCA yesterday, and got the latest on San Francisco.
Yeah, starting to come together a little bit. They've painted and added some more logos and things that will be there. If you can scroll down, we can look at the other stuff. I assume that there are more photos. Yep, those are things. Casino Cucamonga sticking around. I mean, this isn't really unexpected. It kind of sounded like it from the descriptions they gave us about what San Francisco will have. Yeah, I'm still going on record saying I'm excited for this overlay. I think it makes sense given the current DCA.
Now, just a minute.
Thank you, Tony. It's not the full city.
Yeah, this is going to be the Golden Gate Bridge.
And apparently the beer truck is closed. The beer truck is closed over there.
Oh, no, not the beer truck. Where else are we going to get alcohol in DCA? Still says a big wharf for now.
Evil person. I know.
I guess it's probably not the Golden Gate Bridge. It's probably something else, right, Tony? The Golden Gate for Tokyo.
So we're excited to see that bridge. That's the part I'm really excited for. Here's some concept arts if you've forgotten what's coming. And this is what is so exciting. Splash Mountain was not drained yesterday, Gecko. We had some pictures from yesterday and the water was still there. But I don't know if it is today. I'm sure it's just a matter of time. If you missed, by the way, I see some people come on. If you missed my extensive discussion about the trip that I took to New Orleans and got to talk to a lot of Imagineers and hear about the inspiration and how the process of being inspired and creating an attraction like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, including some of the cool new stuff that they've announced for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. That's at the beginning of this video. Basically, the first 45 minutes of this video is me talking about what was learned about Tiana's Bayou Adventure on that New Orleans trip last week. So I may do a quick recap of what's new towards the end of this video, but get it all by rewinding or watching later once we're done. Tony believes it's the Tory Gate Bridge, but he could be wrong.
I mean, that'd be weird if they named the bridge after the British Conservative Party, but
I thought it was named after Mike's wife.
Oh yeah, but that would have been a better, easier joke instead of go a little esoteric.
You're channeling Luke there.
Halloween time is coming back, if you can believe it. September 1st, it'll kick off. And they gave us the dates for that and for this year's Oogie Boogie Bash. And something else to note about this is that because at Disneyland Resort, where you have Halloween fireworks followed by the Christmas holiday fireworks, the final for the year Wondrous Journeys will be, I think, in
August 31st.
Thank you. The day before September 1st. So yeah, some people, they're like, oh my gosh, it's ending already. It's like, no, it's ending for the year. This is usually how it works.
Yeah, I was still disappointed, but it made sense. It makes sense. An Oogie Boogie Bash, DCA, for 25 nights between September 5th and 31st. As you can see, I thought we had when tickets go on sale. But maybe I'm wrong. Tickets go on sale June 29th.
No
earlier.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Pacific time. I love that they have that.
I'm looking forward to more announcements about this because last year, my friend Jeff did a panel with some of the people behind Oogie Boogie Bash, and they teased that they were working on a villain to appear this year that will blow our minds. So I am very interested to see who that is if it comes to fruition. And yeah.
Any speculation?
I forget which ones I thought of before. I don't know, because there's a few different ways that mind blowing could go. It's either like such a deep cut or from a different property that we're not expecting, or it could be like just the scale of it and what they do with the presentation of it that could be mind-blowing. So it's hard to know for sure. So I'm very interested to see what that could be.
And then we already talked about Wondrous Journeys will be ending for the year on August 31st. But that other cool new show that opened right at the same time, World of Color 1, not only is it not ending, it's being updated.
Yeah, so they're going to have a special Elemental pre-show that will start soon.
I thought June 2nd, so tomorrow.
June 2nd. Oh, wow. So yeah, that's coming. We'll have video of that. I assume that's probably another reason why Mike's going to Disneyland tomorrow. And yeah, it's cool. I feel like they've done the hurry home every year, but I feel like it's been a while since we've had like a brand new pre-show for World of Color. Tony's going to have to re-rank his All Things World of Color thing afterwards. So that's something to look forward to. And I do wish they would have given us a little bit of concept art instead of just giving us a still from the photo, from the thing. But I guess we'll have all revealed tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to wait one more day, Kyle. You'll be okay.
And as Tony pointed out, it seems appropriate because the World of Color does include both fire and water.
And then big doings happening over at the Pixar Place Hotel. They've actually unveiled their lobby.
Yeah, so this is currently still the Paradise Pier, but it's going to be the Pixar Place Hotel. And there's the ugly bowling stripes on the side. But inside, starting to look more like a hotel. I like the windows there.
Are you a fan of this look, Kyle?
Yeah, I think they're going to do more to it. But yeah, I like it. I like it better than the outside. I'll tell you that much.
Agreed. Yeah, it's got a cool look to it.
I mean, I know that, like I said, they got a long way to go. Like how it looks in its current state, it looks kind of like a YouTube set where they just have a random blue light in the background. But it will look better.
Yeah, it's not complete. It's important to note. This is, as it says here, pardon our pixel. It is not complete. So you certainly get an idea of what's going to be, but you do not get the entire totality of what it's going to be. And I love these construction signs. Rendering in progress. That's clever.
Hopefully, I don't delete it like Toy Story 2.
Another deep cut. Not that deep. Kind of deep. How deep is that? What do you rank that on 1 to 10 of Disney geekdom?
6. Is it past 50%? I hope so.
I think it is.
All right.
Definitely. All right. So we've got Pixar Place over in Magic Kingdom of Walt Disney World, specifically Epcot. How about that for stupidity? They have unveiled a new DVC kiosk and refreshment station.
It's the best kept Disney secret.
Yeah. So this is
they painted it to make it a little bit louder, more noticeable.
World Discovery, where everything in World Discovery seems to be getting a kind of a consistent look. We looked at the refreshment station last time. I think it's going to be in this picture too. Yeah, refreshment station here. So kind of just
the theme is Coca-Cola.
Getting a consistent look and getting their money's worth. No, consistent look for things in World Discovery, even if it's just redoing what's already there.
It's from their new designer, Jack White.
And Epcot also has a new VIP lounge. I did not even know this was happening. I mean, I guess I did, but I forgot. For VI pass holder days. And
which, all pass holders are VI pass holders. Yeah, so they blocked off a little section where you could go and sit. And I think they have some free snacks and stuff there. So it's not as silly as it seems. Like, the land was always open to people. You could just go sit there.
What I don't like about this is my favorite place to sit in the land. Now, I am an annual pass holder, but now I'm going to be surrounded by other annual pass holders.
It's not the entire land pavilion. It's not like you get something from Sunshine Seasons.
No, but
you have to go sit in the queue for Soarin'.
This is specifically the section of the land pavilion that we would always go sit over here because it was empty. And I guess now it's not going to be empty anymore. But I'm an AP, so I
they
can
saw
still
that it
go
was
there.
empty, and they're like, we can make this special.
But it is
Just
cool.
wall off the thing you could go to before. But no, there's snacks, full-size M&Ms. Come on now.
Yeah. So
And those are Zard, not whatever, from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Zargnuts.
Yeah, I was
And a water station. Would it hurt
not a
him?
freak style machine. Can't get that fancy.
Would it hurt him to put some cucumber or lemon in one of these things just to make it seem a little fancier?
Yeah, make spa water.
Yeah.
Is that a commercial? Are they advertising things you can buy while you're getting the free stuff?
Absolutely, they are. Yep. But I think it's AP
great with this
exclusive.
free water, a raspberry lemonade tart.
That's why they don't give you the lemon, because if the water's too good, you won't want to buy the tart.
I guess so.
Rebecca was having the same rant. They took my seating spot and filled it with people like me. So, yeah, cool
Now you know
table.
how Joni Mitchell felt.
That is cool that they did this. I don't
Yeah.
get that reference. I do not get your Joni Mitchell reference.
You never heard Big Yellow Taxi, Pave Paradise, put up a parking lot? All right. You should probably venture outside of your 580s band sometime.
Probably not. And they do have charging lockers. This is cool, where you can just leave your phone and have it charged while you do something. I like that a lot.
As long as they're legitimate and not putting malware on your phone. Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Where's the seagull again? Rebecca, we need the seagull in this brand.
I'm just saying.
Kyle has earned it twice today.
Disney you can trust, but this is just a PSA. If you're at random sketchy chargers, make sure you're using your own cable, because there are cables that can do bad things to your phone. That's just realistic, Doobie. Okay. Can't all live in a Disney bubble.
Gio's also seagulling.
Music bubble and never hear Joni Mitchell.
Gio's also seagulling. Same place we could go and chill for a bit. Oh, yeah. Plus, they're taking seating away from Sunshine Seasons. Granted, they're probably not very busy since they're discounting so heavy. All right. So excited to check that out. And then we have a new trailer for Disney Plus's original movie World's Best, which will debut on June 23rd. World's Best tells the story of 12-year-old mathematical genius Prem Patel, in the midst of navigating the tumultuous hardships of adolescence, discovers his recently deceased father was a famous rapper and immediately sets out to pursue a career for himself as a rap superstar. A tale as old as time. World's Best.
Song as old as time.
Let's check out that trailer together.
Well, welcome back to the New Jersey Math Olympics State Final. Can this youngster win it all? And it is Prem Patel at the buzzer. Do you believe in miracles?
Happy first day of 7th grade. Did you have another math dream?
Yep.
Did you win?
Yep.
Nuts.
1, here comes the 2 to the 3 and 4.
I'm so excited. This year we have some 12-year-olds joining our high school class. Who's ready to get mathinated?
This is it.
I actually need some help with something. It's about Dad. I miss him too, Prem. I'll never know who I am unless I know who he was.
Your father had a real way with words.
Wait, Dad was a rapper?
For real?
What's his name? Probably haven't heard of him. He died when I was 5.
Hi. Wait, why are we yelling?
Dad?
What's up?
Were you Ghost?
A goat? No.
I'm too old for an imaginary friend.
Well, you're too young for a midlife crisis, but here we are. Who is Prem Patel?
We don't have any time for halfway living.
That's not me. I can't rap.
Why not? Hip-hop is in your DNA.
Till the wheels fall off. We don't have
This math-old thinks he's a rapper now.
we only have this life that we've been given. We're gonna
You're good in school, but in the real world, you'll always be a loser.
Hey, truth is, bullies are afraid of dreamers.
okay, got a lot to say. I stay up and
You're not a rapper, Prem. You love math.
This matters to me.
This is inside you.
Riding in cars with high schoolers? Do they vape?
no matter where we go.
Just do you. Do your best. That's what's important.
World's best, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's get mathinated, people!
Considering that it's not an R-rated movie, I can tell you that they don't vape on screen.
Does that really mean instant R rating?
No, Disney's just agreed that they're not going to show. But yeah, no, that looks fun. I did joke just not because of it, but because of the way Disney Plus is going, that it'll be coming on June 23rd and leaving on September 30th. But I don't think that's true. I'm saying this is a certified hit.
So mathinated. All right, that is World's Best, June 23rd. Another little tidbit of news from the cutesy arena, and that is a new magic shot at Hollywood Studios featuring Baby Animal. How cute is that? It is it Magic
It looks
Hollywood
like a
Studios.
koosh ball.
It does look just like a koosh ball. Hollywood Studios and Disneyland, and an article published yesterday says coming tomorrow, which means it is there today.
Thank you, Rebecca Black.
You what?
Rebecca Black.
Friday. Some news we saw this morning, and that is... Oh, that's not the one I want.
It's not the one that I want. It's not the one I want.
Oh, I know you're going this year. Are you going to go again next year?
I'm not going this year. I'm not going again next year unless my circumstances change greatly. But yeah, they're bringing back the private jet tour that takes you to all of the Disney parks around the world. And when we say private jet, it is a private jet, but it is a big private jet because there are other people, just not as many as you would get on a normal plane. And this itinerary seems to be a little bit different. The base price has also gone up a bit, inflation. I think the thing, I haven't had a chance to dive too much into it, but I did see that they're not doing Skywalker Ranch for this next round, whereas they are for this upcoming one, which still hasn't happened. I think it starts next month.
No, it has not happened, right? I'm not sure what it does, but it has not happened yet. Actually, I am sure what it does. Yes. No, I don't want to tell you what I think. I just want to scroll.
And this year, next year, they're doing
July 9th. July 9th.
They're doing two different ones next time around. And this sold out very quickly last year. So if you have $120,000 and you want to do this, so $120,000 per person, starting at $120,000 per person. And I think that's probably based on double occupancy.
Yeah, yes, I'm sure. Now,
oh yes, it says right there. Both journeys started at $114,995 per person based on double occupancy. So you have to have, if you're going with two people, got at least
find someone else. I wonder if there's like
plus tax,
like a meetup board for people who want to do this, but only one person.
Can I book from Delaware so that I don't have to pay tax? Is that how that works? Because that's a lot of tax.
It is. It's more than 3 weeks though, and it's literally all over the world, and on your own private 757 jet, which is a very powerful jet. I have learned.
Big plane.
So big plane, not only big plane, a powerful plane. You should see the stuff that a 757 can do. It's so impressive. Irrelevant to the story.
Hold on.
Anyway, so that's coming back next year.
Hold on. It's a new bit I'm doing because we have a super chat.
Oh, even better.
Thank you very much, Orange Grove. Yes, in case you missed any of it, we had a whole trip to New Orleans learning all about the attraction. So he talked about that earlier. You can watch after or rewind. But yes, I agree. I think it'll be a nice mix of screens and audio animatronics. And I look forward to it. I think that they're going to keep what makes Splash Mountain so fun and bring it, add in some new magic.
Apparently, if you aren't able to go on the Around the World trip this year, you can follow along right here on Laughing Place day by day. I did not know that.
Day by day.
I do not know who from Laughing Place is going or who are having cover it for us, but we will be reporting.
I was wondering if that was still happening, but that was on my list of things to ask Benji this weekend when I see him.
Okay. So
yes, Flora and Ulysses left. I didn't know about that one. I'm sorry, I did not convey that to you.
And yes, it does have some unique experiences, the Around the World trip. It's not just a bunch of stuff that any guest could do. Is Jeremiah going? I don't know who's going. I'm willing to bet it's not Jeremiah.
I know at least one person who's going. I didn't know if both of them were going, is the thing.
Okay. Well, they better. It's double occupancy.
That's a great point.
Before we go to this day in Disney history,
Oh,
yes,
you
that's
for
what it
3 whole
is.
weeks, Tony. We can't afford that.
We thought about it, Tony. We just can't do without you for that long.
Exactly.
Otherwise, so if you quit between now and then, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, Gideon is going.
he's
So I'm
like,
just
yeah,
going
if
to.
you're gonna send me on a trip that's worth more than I get paid over the course of the year, then yeah, I'm gonna quit and take this trip.
He doesn't get paid that much in a year.
$120,000. How rich do you think we
I
are?
thought we paid our people well here.
That's very, very. We're not hedge funds. Anyway,
All right. Before we
Gideon is
go on to
going. That's right. Gio nailed it.
this day in Disney history, let me just real quick go with what we learned about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I'm just going to run through that quicker than I did last time, and then we will go to this day in Disney history and close out today's longish episode. So, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, of course, opens late next year. Magic Kingdom and Disneyland. The ride itself is the same length, the same speed, still 9 minutes at Disneyland, 10 minutes at Magic Kingdom. There will be original animation created by Walt Disney Animation Studios that will appear on screens within the attraction. Songwriter and producer PJ Morton, a native of New Orleans, is creating an original song that will be heard in Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and he is also doing new arrangements of the classic songs within the attraction. Jazz trumpeter Terrence Blanchard, also a New Orleans native, and he can be heard playing Lewis's trumpet parts in the movie, is working on bringing select songs from the film, as well as iconic themes from New Orleans to use in the queue. There will be a radio show playing in the queue that kind of sets up why we're there, as well as explaining that Tiana needs assistance. We learned that there is a missing ingredient needed for this celebration, but ingredient does not necessarily mean food. Prince Naveen's little brother Ralphie will play a part in the attraction. He will be playing drums within it as an animatronic. There are 17 new characters in the attraction, all of which will be represented by audio animatronics. There are some new themes that will be explored in the attraction. 3 of them are Tiana's father being a World War I veteran, and what was it like for an African-American man to fight for his country back then. Tiana's mom, who we know made dresses for little Charlotte, also was an entrepreneur and made dresses for other people in the community, inspiring Tiana's entrepreneurship. And Imagineer Ted Robledo, in doing research, learned about the Filipinos and their history in New Orleans, and that has inspired them to highlight some of the other country or backgrounds that have been found in New Orleans historically, including Philippines, Mexico, Caribbean, some of the nations of Africa, and even China, as there's a vibrant Chinatown in New Orleans as well. So there will be some representation there. Tiana will have multiple hairstyles and costumes beyond what we've already seen from the Adventure Tiana and the artwork they've put out. Prince Naveen will have a small but humorous role within the story. Look for a sneak peek of new consumer products at the next Essence Fest, which will be at the end of this month, June 29th through July 3rd. The attraction won't necessarily be tied to the Disney Plus series that is coming out, that has already been announced, but they are working with Disney Plus just to ensure continuity. And a new chair created by some students at Yaya, which we talked about what Yaya is, an art school, after-school art school in New Orleans. A new chair created by some current and former students will be sent to Eudora Chic Boutique at Disneyland at a date as yet to be determined. Finally, when asked if there were changes coming to the Magic Kingdom beyond Tiana's Bayou Adventure itself, as has been rumored on the internet, Carmen Smith, one of the lead people on the project, simply said, "I will say, can't say, stay tuned." That is what we
Are
now
you sure
know.
the punctuation is correct there? Or did she say, can't say, stay tuned?
There's actually a period missing there. It should be, I will say, can't say, period, stay tuned. But need to correct that. But at least the stay tuned is uppercase S, so I think it's implied that we forgot the period. All right, with that, let's move on to... No, we're not.
Although if
All
rich
right.
people want to invest in our site, I think we'd welcome that.
Oh, can't tell you how fast I would sell this thing. Shouldn't have shown that yet. Sorry. Don't look
Anyone
down,
get to
Kyle.
go to New Orleans and things like that.
On this day in 1953, someone was born. A Disney entertainer. A Disney
Was it
park
the person I
entertainer.
just saw in the green
Yeah,
room?
it
It's
was.
Yeehaw Bob. Didn't he come up in I guess he had his first performance in a different This Day in Disney history.
Yeah, very recently, yes. Yeehaw Bob was born on this day You know him.
Wow. That is a younger Bob.
Sorry, I gotta get this over here. You know him from
Look, it says New Orleans over his head.
Port Orleans. All right, on this day, let's get this here. Sorry, I'm not quite organized. We got a movie, Kyle. 1963. Travis and Arliss Coates, played by Tommy Kirk and Kevin Corcoran, are in charge of the family farm when their parents leave to visit their ailing grandmother. Thankfully, they have Old Yeller's son, blank blank, to keep them company. The cast includes Brian Keith as Uncle Beck,
Young Yeller,
and Dewey Martin as Lester White. This is now so easy. What is this, Kyle?
You know I don't know it. I already said Young Yeller. Yeller the Second.
You do not know the sequel
Yeller
to Old
2,
Yeller?
Electric
Oh
Boogaloo.
my goodness. Savage Sam. That's embarrassing. You call yourself a Disney fan. All right. On this day in 1982, I'm just going to tell you this one. There's no way to... the Disney World monorail was extended from the TTC to the yet-to-be-opened Epcot Center.
Yeah.
On this day in 1989, a theme park opened.
A theme park or a water park?
I conclude water parks in the theme park.
All right, so it's Typhoon.
It is Typhoon Lagoon. Happy birthday, Typhoon Lagoon. My wife's favorite place in the world. Open.
Thanks, Jeremiah, a month ago.
1989. That's right. On this day in 1994, the coolest parade in the history of the Magic Kingdom had its debut.
Is it the Aladdin one?
No.
Is it something else?
It is.
Okay.
It was a trivia answer not so long ago. Mickey Mania with the Dancing Gloves debuted on this day in 1994. I so wanted to see this parade. It was on all the This picture was on all the brochures. I wanted to see this so badly. Never got the chance. And finally, on this day, also in 1994, another parade debuted. Many people consider this Disneyland's best daytime parade of all time. And they're right. Really? 1994?
I don't know.
What were parades based on back then?
Movies.
What movie came out in 1994?
I said Aladdin earlier.
Okay, well, it's not Aladdin.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. The Lion King Celebration.
I thought that was 95. I don't know.
Well, you thought wrong. The Lion King Celebration debuted on this day in 1994. It was the greatest daytime parade in the history of Disneyland, even though it stopped, and therefore some people didn't like to call it a parade. I never understood that. See, even
Gio. The show stopped. Technically, it made the show stop, and I don't like it.
Even Gio knew the answer.
Even Gio, yeah.
All right, peeps, that's our show. Thanks for joining us today. If you missed any of this show, and we had a lot of it, talking about Tiana's Bayou Adventure, please go back and watch it from the beginning. That first 45 minutes are spectacular, not to be missed YouTube entertainment.
So exciting, the audience will stand in cheers.
Did we have anything else to play for that?
It will run for 50 years.
Did we have anything else break?
I'm looking. We have nothing breaking, and we have nothing else happening today. Nothing scheduled to stream today.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and we will see you all next time.